we're almost towards the end of the year. It's the last month of 2009, and there's been a lot of things that have been happening recently. We saw Australia hiking rates by 25 basis points. We know that India is growing by over 7%. Here in South Africa, we're showing a mild recovery. Taking a look at the balance of economic power, do you think we're going to be seeing massive shifts next year?
You're probably going to continue to see a shift towards the east, where you're going to see China and India and those kind of consumer markets continue to be buoyant, and you're going to see a slow recovery as far as the West is concerned. And when I include the West there, I'd probably include the US and parts of Europe and potentially the UK in that equation as well. You see, traditionally in the balance of power, you had the West consuming and you had the East producing. And the East, very large portions of the East had subsistence type consumption. So it wasn't very consumer driven to what like the West was. And you're now seeing a complete shift as far as that is concerned. Also, the East has over the last decade has become fundamentally far more wealthy than they've been before. And hence the allowance has now been given in order to drive consumerism.
Well, Cobie, you actually sent us a map just indicating the kind of growth levels that we'll be seeing, and the green indicating that these economies are expanding. And there you can see it's basically India, we've got Asia, and we've got Australia expanding, and also just a few parts in Africa and of course the Middle East as well. In South Africa's case, though, we're seeing a slight recovery, and we're also seeing that in the US and of course in South America as well.
Yeah, that map that you see over there is actually from Moody's Investor Services, and this is their work that they do, where they're looking specifically at growth across the globe, and they're trying to understand where there is going to be growth, coming from, in the future. And if you have a look at that map over there, you can see, you've got an expansion as far as the green areas is concerned, and you can see how much expansion. Look at Australia there, and you can see the expansion is happening there, and that's why you're seeing the rate increases there occurring. If you look at the US and you look at parts of South America, you can see that most of that continue to be in blue, which means that it's trying to recover, and it continues to try and do so as Europe is continuing to do so as well. Look at South Africa right at the bottom of the map there, and you can see how that's trying to recover as well. The interesting portions though is look at Russia. Russia is part of an emerging space, and it continues to try and grow and grow and grow. It needs gas prices and it needs oil prices to be buoyant in order for them to recover fully. And as I again say, this is from Moody's Investor Services, and there's many people that do these kind of things. The IMF has got a similar outlook for the world economy.
Just a note there, the red actually means those countries are contracting, as you can see, just places throughout Europe as well. Also the orange, just showing that countries are moderating there. When you take a look at the Middle East, because that's where it's really moderating, as you said, gas and oil prices quite important right now for those kind of economies. What did you make of the Dubai debt fears? Do you think that it's just opening up a can of worms and there's more trouble to come?
Dubai is an isolated event now. We're no longer working from a base of where there's cataclysmic type events, where it literally engulfs the whole world as far as issues are concerned. So we're looking now at regional issues. So these are issues that blow up in a region, and then it becomes regional issues, and the world then deals with the regional issue. And the regional issue is not good for the stock exchange in that specific area. It's not good for markets. As you can see, the Dubai Stock Exchange continues just to drop and drop and drop and drop in value. You had the ruler of that area, stand up and say, "Please, we all have to stand together and try and make this thing work." The other day, so you get a lot of emotional type stuff at work. Work in with these regional type imbalances. But a regional imbalance is not a world imbalance. And a regional imbalance you deal with quickly and quite efficiently.
Depends which region you're talking about, obviously.
Obviously. You see, and that is part of the reason why what has happened in the US in through 2008 and beginning parts of 2009 was so unique. Because if you break up America, you break up the US, you get a whole bunch of states, and often they can isolate events into different states because the states are literally countries on their own. Whereas if you look at the situation that you had in the states now, in the last 12, 24 months, it was literally right across the US, which makes it a very, very, very large issue to deal with.